trees no matter what. If they're small enough. Pete Smith. I work for the Texas Forest Service.
And Pete, what are you doing here today in Galveston?
Well, we've got a great neighborhoods program going on, organized through the East End Historical District, and with a grant from the Home Depot Foundation. And basically, we're matching up homeowners that want a tree on the street in front of their house with a really good quality tree. So the grant paid for the trees, and now we're out planting 170 different trees all across the East End.
And these trees replace some that were, of course, that died as a result of Ike's floodwater, I would imagine.
That's right. You know, the East End was probably the hardest hit neighborhood, with about 90% of its tree canopy lost due to the salty storm surge. And those trees have been removed. Now we're in the replacement mode, and this is the first year of probably a 3-year program here in the East End to replace all of those street trees that got lost. Hopefully we can replicate this in other neighborhoods too.
Once you plant the trees, you've asked folks to water them so often. How often should they do that?
I mean, the deal is we'll give you a free tree if you agree to care for it for 3 years. And by care, primarily we're talking about watering. So having homeowners that are willing to care for a tree that's in the public space is a really unique partnership and a valuable one for the city of Galveston. The city of Galveston doesn't have a forestry crew to manage all their trees, so we really depend on the homeowner to take some responsibility. And if we can get that responsibility focused on watering and establishment, all of the good things, all of the benefits that we get from trees are ultimately going to come to bear for the entire community.
Great job. Should be all by yourself. We got to put that grass around though, haven't we?
Yeah, we're not done yet.
Got a ways to go there.
And how often should homeowners water these trees?
We're recommending, just based on the kind of soil we've got and the temperatures we're about to receive and the wind that you get in Galveston, daily watering for the first 2 to 3 weeks without rainfall. If you don't have any rainfall, we need daily watering on these newly planted trees. After about a month, you get into weekly watering through the summer months.
And that's once a week?
Right, once a week through the summer months for sure. And these trees are going to benefit from additional water. So once, twice, 3 times a week through the summer is going to be fine for the tree. Very hard to overwater trees, at least in this part of the island. So, but we don't want to have hoses running day and night like we did, you know, trying to save our oaks. That didn't really work. It was a good attempt, but what we want is focused watering that daily for the first 3 weeks, and then after that 2 to 3 times a week would be probably plenty.
I'm Paul Evans with East End Historic District.
And you're a master gardener?
Master gardener with working with this bunch. My wife is working with another bunch. She's also a master gardener. We're both with the Galveston County Master Gardeners Program.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing here today?
Well, I'm actually helping them out as far as planting depth and width and so forth and so on. You know, is to just lend a little bit of expertise. You know, is to
ensure the trees are planted properly.
Ensure the trees are planted properly, and they look like they really know what they're doing. So it's not taking much training. So after one tree, you can turn them loose. You know. So. Those roots, they go around and around, and they're root bound, and they've been in the pot so long. And then if you put them in the hole like that, the roots will continue growing around and around. You want the root going out and down. So that's why when they're growing in a circle like that, you cut them.
Common trees that got lost were live oak, pecan, magnolia. That's the heritage that we had here in the East End. We're using some of those species to come back because they are actually quite hurricane resistant species, believe it or not. They withstand wind very well. But the other thing that we're adding are some other species that we think are going to do really well in Galveston. Things like Texas ebony or Eve's necklace. So trying to broaden the palette of species that are growing on our streets here. Diversity is strength, whether it's diversity of people or diversity of trees. And I think a more storm-resistant tree population here will be because we're planting different species.